Asuka, the energetic and strong mother. Yamato, the younger brother who's always in his own little world. Follow us as we karate kick all your daily frustrations away. Asuka's Revenge.
I'm Aska. I met Ryota in college. We got married a few years after graduation. Love you.
Love you too!
Ryota had an older brother named Ryohei. He was 3 years older than him, but he wasn't married yet. He had a fiancée named Miyuki. They were getting married this year.
My brother's getting married! Finally!
I wonder what his wife is like. Can't wait to meet her. I've never met Miyuki before, but Ryota and his brother knew her well. They all grew up together. You're all childhood friends? Aw, that's so cute! I thought it was kind of cute.
I don't know about that.
Ryota didn't agree with me. Wait, did you used to like her or something?
What? No way!
It didn't sound like he was lying. Ryohei and Ryota were nothing alike. Ryohei didn't talk much. He was always working. He usually kept to himself. I hear he's really good at his job. Miyuki, his childhood friend, was the same age as him. She used to come over to their house and play with Ryohei and Ryota all the time. When they were little, Miyuki actually spent more time with Ryota. She was the type of kid who liked to run around and roll around in the mud, so... I was like that too when I was a kid.
Yeah, I bet.
But after Ryota left the city for high school, they kind of drifted apart. She wrote to him a couple of times, but he never replied. Ryohei kept in touch with her, though. Then, many years later, he proposed to her, and she said yes. That's so cute! I can't wait for the wedding. I was really excited for the wedding. But Ryota, he didn't seem that excited.
I mean, she's my childhood friend, but I haven't seen her in years, so...
Then a few weeks later, on the day of the wedding, we're here! Ryota's parents lived far away, so we got in the night before and spent the night there. We all headed to the wedding together the next morning. It was my first time seeing Miyuki. But then, when she saw Ryota, she started crying. You okay? I asked her what was wrong, but she didn't say anything. Maybe she's just really happy to see him?
Is she having prenuptial doubts?
We decided to give her some space. But then, during the wedding ceremony, something unexpected happened. Wow! Look at this place!
This place must have cost a fortune!
They had their wedding at a chapel. Then, when the pastor said,
"If anyone objects to this marriage, speak now or forever hold your peace."
He paused for a few seconds, seeing if anyone had anything to say. Then, just as he was about to continue, someone spoke up. It was Miyuki.
Wait!
Then, she threw out her bouquet of flowers and ran towards Ryota.
Tell them to stop, please!
Then she grabbed his hands and started running.
What? Huh?
But Ryota just sat there, looking confused. Then, as she pulled his arm, he fell to the ground. Ryota! You okay? I ran towards Ryota. His family and relatives gathered around him.
What the hell happened?
What's going on?
Then, Miyuki grabbed Ryota by his arm and said,
I'm not marrying Ryohei. I want to marry him. I'm much prettier than her. I mean, look at her. She looks like a chicken.
She said as she looked over at me. Huh? A chicken?
What the hell is going on?
They had no choice but to call off the wedding. They submitted their marriage papers a few days prior to the wedding, so technically, Ryohei and Miyuki were married already, which meant they had to file for a divorce. But for some reason, Miyuki didn't want that.
I'm not signing anything.
She's not making any sense. And when asked why she didn't want to get a divorce, she said,
Because if I get a divorce, I won't be related to Ryota anymore.
Weird, right? I know! Miyuki's parents had a long talk with her after that. A few days later, she finally agreed to the divorce. Ryota paid for most of the wedding, so Miyuki's parents agreed to pay him back. Ryota was a lazy person. Whenever he had to write Christmas cards and stuff, he only wrote a few words.
I just don't know what to write.
Back then, some people still didn't have cell phones, so when we wanted to talk to someone, we either called or wrote to them. And when Ryota was living on his own, Miyuki sent him a letter almost every week. He replied to the first one, but he got lazy and stopped writing back after the second one. She kept writing to him, even after he started college. That's kinda creepy. Ryota was scared at first, but eventually he got used to it. For years, he just ignored her. After he moved, he thought the letters would stop. But Miyuki found out where he lived from Ryohei and kept writing to him. Ryohei knew that Miyuki had feelings for Ryota, but he also knew that Ryota wasn't interested in her at all.
Someday I'll get her.
So he kept at it. Then, right after Ryota married me, she finally said yes and agreed to marry him.
Yes! Finally!
He thought she finally let him in. But I guess he was wrong. She was after you the whole time. Everyone thought Miyuki was over Ryota, but when she saw me at the wedding...
I'm way prettier than she is. He deserves better.
She said I looked like a chicken.
What does he see in her?
So she tried to steal him from me. Miyuki was pretty. She was voted the prettiest girl in school when she was a kid. It was no surprise that Ryohei was obsessed with her. But why would she...
Huh? What was that?
Oh, nothing. After the incident, things got a bit awkward between Ryohei and Ryota. But a few years later, Ryohei met someone else and got married. He even has 3 kids now. Things between him and Ryota went back to normal. Thank goodness.
Glad everything worked out!
As for Miyuki, she moved out of town. Nobody knew where she was or what she was up to these days.
Our moms used to be good friends, so if Mom was still around, maybe we'd be able to find out, but I don't know.
Then I asked him, "Hey, why didn't you write back to her?" To which Ryota said,
Well, I never saw her like that. She was like a guy friend to me. I talked to her whenever I came home to visit, so I didn't really think about it.
Makes sense, I guess. By the way, Ryohei was much better looking than Ryota. He was much taller than him, too. So why was she so obsessed with Ryota? I guess I'll never know. Oh well.
My name is Yamato. I'm a 21-year-old junior in college. I have a girlfriend named Nami, and I've been dating her for about half a year now. She's a little tough and selfish sometimes, but...
No! It needs to be this movie. It's this one or we're not going.
I don't mind which one we watch. We can just watch what you want. I wasn't really someone who had an opinion, so we got along well. It all started when I went over to her house. She had made curry for dinner.
Here you go.
Thank you. The second I took a bite, I could tell it was way too spicy for me. This is like a level 6 out of 10. This is really spicy. I normally would rate myself at a 1, so her curry was pretty damn spicy. I took 3 bites before I couldn't stop hiccuping. That's how spicy it was. I don't know if I can finish this. So I stopped eating for a second when...
What's wrong?
She was upset, but she was scarfing up the really spicy curry like it was nothing. It's a little too spicy for me.
Curry is meant to be spicy. It's fine. Eat it.
I couldn't tell her no, but I couldn't eat it either. I can't just not eat. I tried to figure out what to do, so I looked over at the soy sauce. Maybe it'll make it a little less spicy. I put the soy in the curry and it was so much easier to eat. Now I think I can eat the whole thing.
What the hell are you doing?
When you put soy sauce in the curry, it helps smooth out the flavor. The second I replied to her.
You little shithead!
She yelled and grabbed my collar before throwing me off my chair. Wait, it's too spicy, you know? The soy helps.
Shut up!
It's better than leaving it, right?
Shut the hell up!
What? Huh? I didn't know what was going on, but she threw me out and locked the door. Nami, what the hell is going on? Did I say something insane? She wouldn't respond to me. I could just hear lots of things being broken from the other side of the door. Is she flipping the table? I realized that there was no way I was going to be able to hold a conversation with her, so I texted her. I want to talk to you once you calm down. I'll be waiting. I left her a message and I went back home, not really understanding what had just happened.
Yamato, welcome home.
Hey, Mom. The second I got home, Nami called me. What's going on? Can you explain what's going on?
I didn't realize how horrible you were. I don't want to breathe the same air as you. Don't ever talk to me again.
Then she hung up on me. What the hell? I tried to call her and sent her some messages, but let's calm down and talk about it.
If you message or call me after reading this message, I'm going to call the police and report you as a stalker.
That was my final text from her. Is soy in the curry that bad? Did I really do something that rude? I went to sleep. The next morning, I headed to college, but the story escalates from there. I didn't see her once today. Once class finished up, I headed to my club.
There's Yamato.
Apparently, she had talked about what happened to some people in the club, so some of her friends were furious.
You insulted her. How dare you?
They started coming at me. I didn't insult her at all. They were so furious that the other members jumped in to try and calm things down.
What's going on?
He asked me, so I explained everything that had led up to this point. The people who were against the soy in the curry.
You're the worst. How could you do that to food that your girlfriend made for you?
Were upset with me, and the people who were okay with soy and curry.
What's wrong with it? Who cares?
Protected me. The club was polarized. There were two groups between unacceptable and acceptable. It started turning into an all-out debate. By the way, 6 claimed it was unacceptable, while 4 claimed it was perfectly fine. The unacceptable group said,
The cooking is her taste. You cannot change the flavor. That's horrible. Besides, who the hell put soy sauce in curry? Men should just shut up and eat what their girlfriends put on the plate. That's just common sense.
A girlfriend cooked for you and you're gonna try to tamper with it? What a moron! Ketchup and curry! Soy is insane!
The people who were on my side.
You're not a professional chef. Why are you being so intense about it? Are you gonna be mad if I put some salt on a rice bowl?
Honestly, some people aren't good with some flavors too. It's literally just soy sauce.
It was spicy, who cares? Japanese-style curry has soy!
So we were at a deadlock. Neither of us were budging, so things were just awkward. Eventually, we were just yelling at each other. However, I still didn't understand what it was. I wasn't sure if she was upset that I tried to add something to her dish, or that I thought adding soy to curry was okay. Guys, listen. I don't know what we're arguing about anymore.
Don't worry, we've got your back.
No, we've already broken up. They continued to argue and the group was split into 2. The latter said,
Yamato, don't worry. You just do business as usual.
but then the sub-lead said,
I don't want you in this club! Get the hell out, you freak!
so now it wasn't just among the regular club members.
Stop arguing about some dumb shit! Dumb shit? I don't want to be part of this club anymore!
The unacceptable group left, taking almost half the members with them. What is happening? The unacceptable group started their own club, which was essentially the same club, but with people who didn't appreciate soy and curry. It's just soy sauce and curry, and they're not able to continue functioning. I don't understand. After that, I started feeling bad about putting stuff on food.
Yamato, you don't put anything on your food recently. You used to like adding stuff to food.
Oh, yeah. I started feeling hesitant to put anything on my meals completely.
You always used to put salt in your food. Did something happen?
No. Nothing. My siblings were also confused. It didn't stop at the clubs in college either. Some of my classmates agreed with Nami, while the others agreed with me. Once again, splitting into two groups.
Apparently she was arguing with a classmate and she felt she was losing, so she got in a fight at the cafeteria.
What?
But what if your child has allergies? You're going to be pissed and hysterical if your child doesn't eat what you cooked. No, I wouldn't do that. But you're okay with someone who's not good with spicy stuff having to suck it up and eat it. That's the same thing. There are some people who get sick from eating spicy foods, you know. Yamato isn't that weak. Yeah, so you're going to force your child to eat your food because your child isn't that weak, right? Shut up! That's decided on a case-by-case basis.
She freaked out after not being able to argue back and injured a classmate. A few months after the whole incident, Nami dropped out of college. To this day, I haven't talked to her, so I still don't know what she was mad about. Was it the fact that I chose the soy? Was it that I added something to her dish? I'll never know.
My name is Aska. I moved into my husband Ryota's parents' house as soon as we got married. It's been almost 3 years, but I really get along with his mom, and we're close enough to just be honest with each other. No, you can't put it away like this. You should put it away like this.
No, I don't think so. We won't be bringing this out till next winter, so let's put it away.
But then you injured yourself trying to get it out last winter.
I mean, okay, fine. Let's put it away downstairs.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Things we didn't like, things we weren't sure about. We talked to each other completely and told each other what we could and couldn't budge on. We had a healthy relationship.
I'm so glad you guys get along.
It's 'cause she's not someone who talks about me behind my back. It all works out well. But the problem was his dad. He really just won't stop. I don't know what his problem was, but he's always trying to ruin my relationship with Ryota's mother. He wants to see us fight, apparently, so he does everything he can to tear us up. And they're always childish.
Hey, Asuka-san said you were a mean, ugly hag. You should chew her out.
Asuka-san wouldn't say that, you idiot.
Asuka-san, my wife said that you're a horrible wife. You don't do the chores right and she wants you out.
She would never say that. He would say nonsense.
Hey, Asuka-san tore up your lovely scarf. Wasn't it expensive?
What? I took such great care of it. This freaking moron.
What a horrible wife, huh? Guess they've got to get a divorce. Hey, Asuka-san! My wife dumped your phone in the sink. Are you guys fighting or something?
What the hell? Are you serious? All my photos are saved in there. Ugh, this old fart. He would keep destroying things that we found important and blame us. It was honestly getting out of hand. These things continued to escalate, and both of us were reaching the end of our patience.
They really don't get along, do they? They're both so strong-willed.
Damn it, Dad, enough! They get along, so stop messing with them!
My husband was also pretty upset about this whole thing and tried to stop him, but he wouldn't listen. Even today, during dinner, he started saying some dumb shit.
Hey, Asuka-san! My wife said your cooking is absolutely horrible. Right, sweetie? You hate her cooking?
He looked over at her, trying to get her to agree with a shit-eating smirk on his face. She normally just completely ignored it, but she put down her chopsticks and grinned. Oh, she's up to something. I was watching them talk when...
Yeah, Asuka-san, I'm just gonna go ahead and take this chance to talk to you. Can you come over here? Oh, you two just keep eating.
She looked pretty irritated and slowly walked toward the kitchen. Okay. I pretended to be irritated, and when I glanced over at his dad, he was smirking the whole time.
It's happening!
Huh? Mom? What's going on? Asuka, you need to calm down too.
My husband was honestly worried. Now in the kitchen, she was smiling and said,
Here, take this.
she handed me a rolling pin. She was holding a frying pan.
If he wants to see us fight, let's show him a fight. You know his favorite thing?
His treasured whiskey collection caught my eye. She pointed at it.
You see that? When we fight, I really hope we won't accidentally hit that, you know? It would be a real shame if we accidentally destroyed it.
She said, walking toward the whiskey cabinet. I followed, rolling pin in my hand. She took a deep breath and...
Asuka! You little poo-poo butthead! Don't you dare talk back to me! Ha!
She swung full force with her frying pan to the cabinet. The cabinet just made a loud thunk and withstood the blow.
What's going on? Is the fight really starting?
What's going on?
The two showed up, shocked at the commotion. They immediately saw us standing in front of his whiskey cabinet. He must have known what was coming next.
No! Get away from that cabinet!
He was yelling, but I didn't care. Shut the hell up! I swung full force at the cabinet. It just made a loud thump, and the door didn't open.
You're such a daughter-in-law! How dare you! Take this!
You're my mother-in-law! How dare you! Hi-ya! We would scream nonsense at each other while banging at the shelf, and eventually I slipped and smacked the glass on the door. It broke with an ear-shattering crash. Everything inside was now exposed.
Hey! Stop! Stop right now!
He immediately ran to go and stop us, but my husband, Ryota, now understood what was going on.
Come on, Dad. This is what you wanted, right? Enjoy.
The shit-eating smirk was now transplanted on my husband's face. He held his father in place.
Let go of me! Stop! Ryota, let go!
My mother-in-law pulled out a whiskey from the cabinet and opened one.
Asuka, let's just go ahead and wash all of our crimes away, huh? What a great wife.
She started saying some fairly insane things.
I'm done with the fighting! I'm done!
I also felt like I had to get in on this, so I took 2 bottles of whiskey. All right, I'll do you one better. I'll give you a grandchild. I'm sure you want one. All of the whiskey was poured out into the sink.
Please! Please stop!
Come on, Dad. This is what you were begging for, right?
The room reeked of whiskey, but my mother-in-law said,
I feel so much better. I think I can live with you like normal from now on.
Really? Me too! She yelled, making sure he heard everything. My husband finally let him go, and he was just slumped over. However, I don't really drink whiskey, so I didn't really know the price of whiskey. I'm sure it was expensive, but he took it way too far. He had bragged once before. I remembered that, so I just remembered him being so proud.
I have 2 bottles of whiskey worth $1,000.
So, what do you say? You want us to keep fighting, or are you satisfied?
Whiskey! My whiskey collection!
Hey, you got to see a dream fight in the front row seats, so that's just the price of the ticket. You should know how nice it is to be peaceful now.
I don't ever want to see fights ever again. I'm sorry.
After that, he never spurred us on. If anything.
Asuka-san, my wife says you're such a great person.
Really? That's awesome.
Hey, you guys should take a break and go out sometime. Relax and unwind a little.
He would give us some money and support our already healthy relationship. On his birthday last week, we all chipped in to give him a whiskey cabinet and some whiskey to put in it.
My collection is back!
He was very happy.
I'm really sorry. I hope you guys get along forever.
Yeah.
My name is Yayoi. I have a son and a daughter. My daughter Aska still lives with me, but my son Fubuki has gotten married and I'm now a mother-in-law. I'm a little worried about him though. He's never been a good judge of women. My son Fubuki was always a pretty good kid and he had already bought a house and finished paying off his loans when he was single. He started living there 3 months ago after he got married, but I don't know if I'm just immature, but I can't hold it back. His wife's name was Ayumi-san, and she always ate all the food without any consideration for others. She was just not one to really care about anyone around her. Fubuki worked at a pretty decent company, but because of his position at a fairly elite company, he was often working late.
Hello?
Ayumi-san would often come over while Fubuki wasn't home and eat dinner before saying things like,
Your food is so good! I love it! It's great!
so it was nice. And at first, I didn't mind cooking for her. It's a little lonely at my house, so I don't mind that she comes over. Or so I thought, but then...
Wait, you ate all the meat?
That's my favorite food!
Oh wow, she really only ate the meat. Even when cooking a large dish, she would often eat all of the meat first.
Ah, it's so good!
She never shared it all. We would often only have veggies left, and so my husband Aska, my daughter, and I would just end up eating the vegetables with no meat. Eventually, I tried to portion off people's meals to make sure she couldn't eat all of it.
Ah, it was so good, but it's just not enough.
Huh? She would often complain, so she would take the leftovers from my husband, Asuka, and I. It really didn't leave a good taste in my mouth. Do you want mine too?
Are you sure?
She didn't even bother hesitating, but that wasn't enough for her. She would start taking things around the house as well.
Oh, you bought a lot of toilet paper, didn't you? Can I have one?
What?
It's only a few rolls, thanks. Oh, and I'm about to run out of detergent too, so thank you. I'll bring my own containers to refill.
Recently, Asuka's been complaining about Ayumi-san after she leaves, taking notes.
Let's see. 2 toilet paper rolls, detergent, and she also ate like half of your meal.
Asuka, she also took my medicine! Write that down too!
She would make a list of things that Ayumi-san took, and you could tell that both my husband and Asuka were starting to feel stressed out by her actions.
It's tough to say anything because she's Fubuki's wife.
Fubuki should be making good money too!
They're newlyweds, so maybe they just don't have a lot of funds at the moment.
She eats dinner at our house almost every night, and you send her home with enough food for Fubuki, so they have to have some extra money.
The other day, while my husband and Asuka were off at work, Ayumi-san came over to my house, so I decided to ask her about it. This might lead to some problems, so I should just clear the air. Ayumi-san, I appreciate you coming over and spending so much time with us, but I think you're coming over a little too frequently, and you should go buy your own expendables.
I just don't have time to go buy my own stuff.
But you're a stay-at-home wife.
Yeah.
She replied with some stress in her voice. I didn't want her to think I was bullying her or something and cause problems between her and Fubuki, so I wasn't able to say much more. Whatever the case, can you cut back the amount of times that you come over to eat? I figured there was no way that she would come over that night, but...
Hello?
You're kidding! Did she not hear anything I said? She came over like nothing ever happened, once again to eat dinner.
I love this food. This is my favorite.
She started eating all the meat once again without any consideration for others.
Can you stop taking all the meat?
Asuka finally lost her patience.
What's going on?
I got this meat from a friend as a thank you.
But it tastes better if you eat with everyone.
Yeah, as in share. But you always eat all the meat alone. Ugh, I'm done with this. I'm going to tell Fubuki.
Once Fubuki got home past 9 p.m., we were all holding a family meeting.
What's going on? It's so late.
He looked completely dumbfounded before walking up to us.
Well, you're probably not home often because you work late. But your wife comes home almost 4 times a week to eat dinner. And we're not sure if that's such a good thing.
Huh? Ayumi? She's coming over that often?
You didn't know?
No, I didn't know at all. Is this true, Ayumi?
Yeah.
Apparently, she didn't even tell her own husband that she was coming over to eat. However, I started realizing something was up.
Wait, how do you not know? Ayumi-san should be taking home food for you on the days that she comes over to eat.
What? I've never had any food from Mom.
Apparently, even that food wasn't off limits to her. It was so good that she just couldn't hold back. She looked like she was just a little guilty, but it seemed to not understand the gravity of the situation. I was honestly a little terrified. Even the meal I sent you home with yesterday?
Your food is just too good.
I made extra just for Fubuki.
Hey, that's going too far, Ayumi.
But I really only take a little bit.
My daughter and husband, both surprised by what she had just said, at the same time exclaimed, "Huh? You literally eat all of the meat that was cooked for everyone. A little bit?" They said, completely in the right. I felt a little bad for my son not being aware of anything, but...
Can you guys explain a little more in detail?
What do you even do for dinner?
Yeah, I'm a little curious about that too. Apparently Ayoi had quite a bit of stress and he has never eaten any cooking from Ayumi-san.
Every time I come home from working late, there's no food or anything. So I've just been eating instant meals or buying things on my way home.
I was starting to get upset that all the food that I've been giving her to give to my son wasn't reaching him and also worried about his health. Why don't you make him anything?
You're literally a stay-at-home wife. Why don't you cook him anything? That's a little much.
It's annoying having to make a meal for just one person.
So then how about you make it for two and eat at home?
I would love to eat your homemade cooking too.
You eat that much at our house, and then you eat his food too? I'm just gonna put it all out there since we're on the subject, but you're always taking expendables around the house too, like detergent and toilet paper.
Why? I didn't know anything about this.
My son looked pretty upset, questioning Ayumi-san.
Oh, come on. It's not worth reporting back to you about. It's not like I'm taking a lot.
You realize that it all adds up, right?
Just so we're clear, it's not just a little either. Look at this.
Asuka showed the list that she had been writing up every time she took something.
What the? She's taking so much.
Fubuki looked furious and lost.
I've been giving you all of my salary after we got married, and I've only taken like $500 per month for myself. You definitely have the money.
The second he started talking about money, Ayumi-san just fell silent and my son said something I still cannot believe.
I can't believe you were doing exactly what your mom was doing.
Huh?
According to Fubuki, Ayumi-san's mother would often come over to their house.
I'm gonna take a little soy sauce, okay?
And she would fill almost 200 milliliters of an empty container with soy sauce before going home.
Oh, give me a little bit of horseradish if you don't mind.
She would then take the whole thing.
Oh, and I'll take 2 eggs.
She literally just took everything around the house.
I mean, they're not expensive or anything, but she just takes everything. You're doing that crap too? I was honestly getting tired of your mom's behavior.
What's wrong with taking a little bit from people who already have some? What's wrong with all of you? You're just bullying the married and wife?
No, of course not.
I gotta ask you, are you actually saving the money that I've been making?
Of course. I've been spending a lot on utilities and whatnot, so there's not much left, but...
That's sketchy. I've been giving you $4,000 a month. You wouldn't even need half of that for utilities and cost of living. We don't even have a mortgage. I'm gonna go home and check my account real quick. Dad, Mom, Asuka, sorry about all the trouble. It's Saturday tomorrow, so I'll come by during the day to talk again.
They went back home and we were completely exhausted by this interaction. I always sent her home with food.
She didn't even make him any food.
I'm confused what she even does during the day.
The next Saturday, Fubuki and Ayumi-san showed back up.
I'm gonna have her parents come over in an hour or so.
Huh? I haven't made any preparations though.
Just to be blunt, we have no savings at all.
Huh?
All the money in the accounts that I made before we got married were fine, but all the money that we had as a joint account only had $40 total.
So she used up your savings?
But it's just you two. I'm sure it's probably only like $200 a month for utilities, right? Even if you consider cost of living and food.
Ayumi-san didn't say anything and before her parents showed up.
What's the problem? They're kids. You should be able to provide them with food if they're asking. That's totally normal.
I see, that's why she's the way she is.
There are limits to things. It's one thing if she comes over a few times a month, but she literally comes over almost every day. That's just a bother and nothing else.
Look at this. This is a list that my sister wrote down.
He showed Ayumi's father a list of all the stuff and the lack of funds in their joint savings account.
You! What the hell have you done?
Ayumi's father was shocked at all this, but her mother...
Ugh, are you just nagging at her because she's your brother's wife? Oh, how disgusting. I feel so bad for her.
Shut up! What would you do if he did the same thing to you? Shameful!
Ayumi's father said what none of us had the balls to say. I'm glad that her father's a relatively normal person. Ayumi-san never spoke up, but her father was questioning her about the whereabouts of the money.
I went out to watch movies with Mom and go out to restaurants.
Apparently, Ayumi-san and Ayumi-san's mother thought that Fubuki was an ATM. So you've been hanging out, dilly-dallying, while you didn't cook at all for my son. I'm actually stunned.
I'm going to go ahead and put this out there, but it's not just cooking. She's never cleaned or done the laundry either. I've just been doing it all on the weekend. I figure we're still newlywed and she's not good at chores, but I'm done with this. I think it's easier for me to live alone.
What? Why? It's our money, so I should be able to use it as I like.
Yeah, you're being too mean.
You two need to shut the hell up. Stop embarrassing me even more. I'm sorry. I'll pay you back everything. I won't even be mad if you decide to divorce her.
Thank you.
Hey, what are you saying? Don't be butting into your own child's household matters.
The second Ayumi-san's mother said that, Ayumi's father turned to her with a look that would make the devil himself tremble in fear.
Shut up! You're doing the same thing! It's the same thing that you did when we got married! You have no idea how many times I've considered divorcing you! I just couldn't because I had kids!
Huh?
Apparently, Ayumi-san's mother had been doing the same thing to her father's parents.
They also suggested I get a divorce, and I really didn't think about it. But I didn't expect my own daughter to do the same thing.
Thanks to Ayumi-san's father, everything went smoothly. It was such a short marriage, but because Ayumi-san had used up so much of their savings, there was almost no shared wealth.
I'll reimburse you for everything that my daughter used in the last 3 months. I'll pay for damages as well.
2 weeks later, they were successfully divorced.
Apparently, Ayumi's father and mother got a divorce too, and Ayumi is living with her mother now. They both got arrested though, and her father got a phone call.
Huh? Why were they arrested?
They were taking toilet paper from malls and soap from the stockrooms and public bathrooms. They got caught and arrested. They were apparently regular thieves.
I can only imagine what kind of struggles that the father was put through.
And back at our house.
It's been so long since I've been able to just sit down and eat dinner.
Yeah, we haven't been able to eat a single slice of meat at all.
You guys, eat up.
Ah, that meat looks really good!
Peace and quiet returned to our household.
My name is Ryota. I have a scar between my eyebrows. This was when I was still a student, but... it's almost time for the Setsubun. That day, we were going to have a Setsubun event, and I was going to attend. I was asked to be the Oni for the festival.
We were looking for someone who can run around with no problems.
Oh, sure, I'll play the part. Just as planned, I wore a full-body suit and a bath towel to look like the Oni. I bought a few extras from the local dollar store to play my role perfectly.
Ha ha ha! I am an evil spirit! Are there any bad kids around?
Ah!
Wait, is this how I'm supposed to play the Oni?
Oh my gosh, it's the Oni! Be gone, Oni!
They were throwing dried beans at me, as is tradition for the festival, but eventually, I felt a sudden sharp pain on my forehead. I looked down and noticed a ping-pong ball-sized rock next to my foot. The one that threw the rock at me was a boy in the 4th grade named Kenta.
Be gone!
He kept cackling like the devil himself. Talk about ironic. He continued to throw a few rocks at me before...
Stop! Don't do that! That's dangerous!
One of the guardians that were making sure the whole event took place safely stopped him when she noticed that I was wobbling, my hand on my head. It was already too late. I'd already been bleeding. Getting mad now would only make the other kids scared.
Ah, you got me!
I quickly left the area and went straight to the hospital. We're gonna have to stitch that up. As a result, I got 3 stitches put in to stop the bleeding. When I got back from the hospital, there was a ruckus going on. What's going on? Apparently, Kenta's mother had started a fuss and screaming and pouting. Her complaint was...
How are you going to chase off an evil spirit with beans? My son did nothing wrong. I'm not going to be paying for any of your treatment. I'm more concerned with the fact that one of the adults felt it appropriate to scold my child. He has endured mental distress because of it. What are you going to do about that? Who's going to pay for that? If Ryota-kun over there didn't play the part of an Oni, then this wouldn't have happened. He's just been crying all day at home.
Or something along those lines.
Why don't we not argue in public, huh?
My mother took her to the town hall to talk about this in more detail. My mother and I, along with Kenta's mother and the rest of the townsfolk who were part of the Setsubun event committee, all gathered. I didn't care much as long as the kid understood that what he did was wrong and I got the money for my treatment. I don't want to deal with her any more than I have to anyway. But then I found out something new. Apparently Kenta's mother hadn't even paid the fees that were due to take part in the event. She just told Kenta to join without permission.
You don't pay the fees and you just let him join like it's his right. That's not relevant right now. Stop changing the point. Just apologize to my kid already.
She continued to yap away like an annoying dog, so Kenta's father was also called to the hall. But of course, why would you expect his father to be any different?
My child has done nothing wrong! I'm not gonna pay a cent!
He exclaimed. This is where my mom...
Okay, so you're telling me you have no intention of paying for the medical fees?
asked a valid question. He replied,
Of course not! You're just wearing that stupid cast on your head to make it seem like a big deal! I'm sure it's nothing! You're just trying to take money from us!
Exactly, we're the victims here.
They just started saying things that made no sense at all. These two are insane. Then my mother said,
Then I'll be asking Shimizu-san for the money. Please call Shimizu-san.
She asked the leader to call Shimizu-san to the town hall. Suddenly, Kenta's father lost all color in his face. Shimizu-san is the CEO of the company that Kenta's father is employed at. He's very good friends with everyone in town, and he's been very friendly with me, too. Normally, he's a very chill old man, but he hates when people act up, and it's very scary when you get on his wrong side. He's seriously scary when he gets mad.
Please don't do that!
Kenta's father started begging for mercy.
You're not going to pay, right? Then I'll just have to take the money directly from your salary.
My mother was not having any of it. Kenta's mother seemed unsatisfied by this whole thing.
Enough!
She started screaming and pouting before kicking and throwing things around the hall.
We did nothing wrong!
Eventually, the police were called and she was detained and taken away.
Let go of me! I've done nothing wrong!
Stop resisting!
Afterwards, I was interviewed by the police and I had to spend a lot of my time explaining everything that had happened. We settled with them having to pay for my treatment and also damages. The town would be suing them for the damages that Kenta's mother caused to the hall as well. Shimizu-san would be taking that directly out of Kenta's father's pay. I mean, what did anyone think was gonna happen? I guess everything has been settled now? But then something else happened. A few days later, our entire family, including my parents, my grandpa, Kenta's father, and his grandpa, all showed up to have a discussion. Normally, my grandfather lives with us, but apparently he was out the day of the festival, so when he came back and learned of my not-so-minor injury, he was infuriated.
I'm gonna give them the same exact injury they gave you!
He was yelling and wouldn't stop, but
then we're gonna stoop to the same level as them!
My father calmed him down.
I need to at least give them a piece of my mind!
So that's how we ended up where we are now. Your heads. The first thing that surprised me when we met up to talk was Kenta and Kenta's father's heads. They were completely bald, and Kenta's grandpa said,
I know this isn't enough to make up for it, but...
He was trying his best. Then, Kenta and Kenta's father, Kenta's grandparents, all apologized.
We're so sorry!
My father said,
Why is your wife not present today?
Apparently, Kenta's mother was thrown into jail a few days ago. From what he says, Kenta's mother had caused trouble before and had already had a record. She was in the middle of her probation period. I knew she was insane. This whole series of events led to her being put behind bars and convicted.
I'm so sorry for all the trouble we have caused you and your loved ones.
Kenta's mother apparently also skipped out on many other payments as well, and so Kenta, along with his father, were going to move out since there was no way that they could pay for everything she owed plus rent. I think that kid is better off not being around that lady. Then Kenta spoke to me in a quiet voice.
I'm sorry. My grandpa got mad at me and I realized what I did was wrong. I'm really sorry for throwing a rock at you.
It's alright, little dude.
I'm so sorry.
So it honestly ended up more or less as a meeting for them to apologize to us and an actual discussion. However, when we talked about my injury, Kenta's grandmother quietly said,
I'm just glad that it wasn't a woman or a child that was injured.
Unlucky for her, my grandpa heard that.
Maybe he's just a stranger to you, but he's my adorable grandchild.
My grandpa went at her like he was about to chew her head off. I kind of understood what she was saying, but I'm pretty sure that's not something you say in front of the person that was injured. I was also shocked. I was also embarrassed after hearing my grandpa talk about how I'm his adorable little grandchild. As far as financial compensation, Kenta's grandparents both would be paying me several thousands of dollars. I don't know what the market price would be, but if you consider the fact that I'm going to be left with a lifelong scar, maybe it wasn't too expensive. However, luckily there would be no lasting damage to any of my nerves or eyes. Is this injury going to leave a scar? Probably yes. I mean, give it 50 years, no one will notice with all the wrinkles. 50 years?
My name is Aska. I married my boyfriend, Ryota, who I'd been dating for 4 years. We're going to be having a wedding in September.
I'm so happy.
I wonder if my friends will come. I asked my friends from college if they'd be able to come, and... Can you guys come to my wedding in September?
Of course I'll go.
They said they would all love to attend. One of them, a girl named Elisa, called me. I got along with her the most.
We were all talking and we wanted to go see you before the wedding. Are you able to come out?
Yeah, I'd love to see you guys. We all met up at the cafe. How has everyone been?
I'm doing great. Congrats, Aska. Who's the lucky guy?
My boyfriend. We've been dating for 4 years.
You're the first one out. Congrats on your marriage.
We were all having fun catching up, but suddenly one of the girls, Miho, started crying.
You guys are so lucky. I went to college on loan, so I still have to pay that off, and I don't have any savings. If my parents were decent, this wouldn't have happened.
She was bawling. We had no idea what to say.
You guys are so lucky. No one wanted to be the communications person during the seminars, so I always did it, and it really sucked.
Uh-huh. She just kept complaining and crying.
I showed you my notes and you guys just thanked me. I didn't want to show my notes at all. Why didn't you just do it yourself?
Huh? I only borrowed the notes from you like once. We all got food poisoning, so we couldn't make it to the lecture.
To wrap things up, she singled me out.
The guy you're getting married to today, it's a different boyfriend from the boyfriend you had in college, right? We know your college boyfriend and you're just gonna come out and say you're getting married to someone else like we should be happy? Have you no shame?
Huh?
I'm working so hard trying to do things right, and you're just gonna quietly get married before me?
She just kept going on, so I couldn't help but say, I'm sorry, I guess. I just had to apologize, but...
You have nothing to apologize for, Asuka. I understand you being angry at your parents, but she's not your parent. You were the one that suggested you be the communications person. It's not anyone's fault.
Seriously, you did great, but no one forced it on you. It was super nice when you showed us your notes. You could have just not offered.
Ugh. Asuka's partner isn't the same guy from college. Sure, but no one cares. We're just happy she's getting married.
My other friends covered for me.
What the hell? You don't even know how I feel. Your family is so rich, so you don't know what it feels like to be me.
She just ran out without paying out of anger.
I don't know. Should we go grab food somewhere else to reset the mood?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
I'm hungry from being so shocked, too. We headed to a yakiniku store and ate as much meat as we could.
What the hell was that about anyway? I think I'm done dealing with her. I've lent her bags and shoes from college, but she's never returned them. Yeah, I'm well off, but that is not how you treat people.
Elisa was furious.
I think I'm done too. I didn't think that she was someone that held grudges like that. She was always smiling and despising us behind our backs.
My other friend was just creeped out.
Anyway, want me to do a reception for the wedding?
I'll help too.
Really? That would help a lot, thank you. We ate a lot, drank a lot, and felt a lot better before heading home. I didn't feel that good about her talking shit about my wedding too, but... I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But I can't just stay friends with her after all of that. I decided just to leave her out of the wedding invitation list because I didn't want to offend her more. Then, I got a call from Miho.
I don't have your invitation yet.
Huh? You were planning on coming? I haven't sent you one. I was so shocked that I told her the truth. Click. She just hung up on me. Huh? I guess she wanted to go? Was I being rude? I was so worried that I called my friend Elisa. So, yeah, you think I should have sent an invitation?
Hell no. You realize that she's gonna show up and say some mean shit at the wedding too.
I thought she wasn't happy about my wedding.
Yeah, you made the right choice not inviting her. I think she'll probably say something to your husband too.
Right. I hung up and started getting ready to cook when my other friend called me.
Hey, Miho called me and said that she was getting her dress ready and everything, but then when she called you asking where the invitation was, you said you were inviting her. She said she was furious. I was so shocked that she intended to attend your wedding. I told her to not call me anymore.
I see. Yeah. I guess I did ask if she wanted to go. I should have at least told her that I wasn't going to invite her. That's my bad.
No. No one would think that she wants to attend after that. I thought she wasn't gonna come either.
Yeah, I guess.
I think you might want to tell the wedding venue about her too. She was so mad and I didn't tell her, but she started asking about the wedding date and place, so she might try to just show up.
After I hung up with my friend, I felt a little guilty about not sending the invitation to Miho, but at the same time angry about what she had said that day. I was at the wedding venue with Ryota to make plans. I was going to invite someone because I thought we got along, but actually I decided it would be a bad idea, so can I just tell you now to be careful about her and tell your staff to be on the lookout? I told the planners, but...
Is her name Miho Yamada?
What?
Uh-huh? Apparently, Miho had already called.
I want you to tell me the date and time of Asuka-san's wedding.
And not only once, but 3 times.
I'm sorry, it's private information.
The staff politely declined as it was against the policies, but she just kept threatening and crying and begging over the phone.
We didn't want to tell you and make you worried, so we decided that we would just all be on the lookout on the day of your wedding. But if you already know about it, I apologize for not informing you sooner.
The planner apologized, and I quickly apologized as well.
Maybe we should set up security, even if it's a little more expensive.
Ryota was also cautious, so we hired a security outfit in civilian clothing to be at the wedding. I explained that to my friends after I got home, and...
I cannot believe she would say that about your wedding. She's borrowing things all the time and she has the balls to act that way. I don't consider her a friend anymore.
I think it's normal to cut ties with her. It's better for everyone involved. She's clearly got it out for us.
About a month before the wedding, I was invited out to a cafe by Elisa.
You said you were going to hire security for the wedding, but I don't think you need to worry about it.
Huh? Why? Did Miho call you?
Nope, I saw her on Insta.
I didn't know she had an Insta. I looked at the Insta that Elisa found.
I was asked out by a great-looking biracial guy. He works as an executive for a foreign company in Japan.
Ah, she's found a boyfriend. I continued to read on.
We went to the hills on a drive date. He showed up with a really expensive car and we ate some incredible food. We're going to be going to an overseas resort next month.
There were a lot of comments displaying her happiness. I guess if she's this happy, she shouldn't care about my wedding. But for some reason, the man always hid his face in the pictures. It was a little weird. I mean, he does look good just by the lower half of his face. However, she said,
He accepts and understands everything. He's so kind. My knight in shining armor.
She really did seem like she was at the peak of her happiness, so I was happy for her. Ha! She seems happy. I feel better.
Miho's in a great place now, so I don't think she cares about your wedding. She was even going to be going overseas on your wedding day, so you don't have to worry about a thing.
Yeah. Oh, I was so worried about Miho showing up on our wedding day. Now I don't have to bother with it at all. Thank you. I was so glad to see Miho is happy. I was furious and cut ties with her, but I still cared. We always had a lot of fun. There were a lot of great memories, too. We cut ties, but if she's happy, I'm happy. I was feeling relieved and crying when Elisa started laughing.
You're seriously such a great friend. You can have your wedding in peace now.
She was positive about the whole thing. The day of the wedding, we still had people keeping an eye out, but nothing happened, and we had a lovely wedding. It was better than anything I could have imagined.
Yeah.
The ceremony ended, and when we were all getting small gifts at the end, Elisa suddenly said,
Asuka, we cut ties with Miho. You cannot be looking at her Insta anymore, okay? Do not do it.
She looked at me with a serious face. Okay, I'm sure she's happy now too. I think me snooping around would be rude.
Yeah, just forget about it and have a nice life with your husband.
Yeah.
Do not look, okay?
My name is Kotomi. I live with my husband Yuta and my daughter Airi, who's a sophomore in high school. My in-laws' house lives about 10 minutes away by bicycle, but one day, the mother-in-law with a pretty bad spending habit,
I want to go overseas, so loan me some money.
suddenly asked us for money. She was always someone who went overseas for work, but she's always been spending a lot of money, enjoying herself while she was overseas.
I was more free when my husband was working.
However, after my father-in-law retired and started staying at home, my mother-in-law started realizing that she was spending way too much money.
So yeah, he took all the cards from me, so I need a little allowance, you know? Just loan me a little bit.
I can't. I answered immediately, but my husband, Yuta,
She's already retired and starting to get old. Lend her some money.
tried to cover for his mom. However, we have to save money for our kids' education, and she's never paid us back for any money we've lent her. My husband looked unsatisfied, but I managed to convince him that time. The next month, when my daughter went to the bank to withdraw some money that she had worked so hard to save up, she realized something insane.
Mom, my money is missing!
I still remember the look on her face when she came home. What? What do you mean?
What?
The piece of paper that she showed me was from the bank, showing that she only had about $200 left in her account.
I only want to withdraw $100, but I'm missing $6,000!
Give me a second, dear. I could only think of a single person who would be capable of withdrawing her money like that. Where did you put Airi's money? I questioned my husband as soon as he came home from work.
I gave it to Mom.
He didn't even hesitate. That's bullshit! Why would you give our own daughter's money to your mother? I started screaming out of anger.
It's your fault for not giving money to Mom. Airi's money is mostly coming from my pay anyway. I'm free to do as I like with it.
He actually started getting mad at me. He eventually even said,
The money you two spend to buy your clothing, the food you eat, it's all from my pay. You want to complain? Get the hell out of my house with nothing to your name. Leave our daughter too. She's my daughter that I raised with my money.
He must have calmed down after screaming at the top of his lungs.
Sorry, I got a little emotional.
He apologized to me, but it was way too late for that. I'm not going to let that go. Your money? I've been raising the child and taking care of the house all on my own. I've been working part-time jobs in my free time, and I've been putting in more shifts once Airi was able to go to school. I've been helping out around the house too. That day, we didn't say a thing to each other and went to bed. I called my parents' house the next day. Hey, this happened, so is it okay if we go live over there with you guys? I decided to live with my mom for a little while.
I want to go to Grandma's house already!
From the second that Irie told me about her money, she seemed to have already known who took the money and why.
It's because Dad wants to let his mom go on vacations all the time, right? He kept asking me for money.
I didn't know they was doing that. I'm sorry.
Dad only cares about his mom. I don't want to see him anymore.
She seemed to want to leave before I did, so things went smoothly. My husband actually has done something like this before and pulled out almost $12K from her savings without asking first. We got in such a huge fight then too. He's also taken the dishwasher that I got for my birthday to give to his mom as well. He basically just gives her whatever she wants, even if it means stealing from us. But I didn't expect him to actually stick his hand into his daughter's pockets. I was such an idiot for trying to deal with it. When I explained to his father that he had used up $12K of our savings,
I'll keep a close eye on him and I'll chew them both out to understand what they've done. Please give him a chance.
he was on his knees begging, so I thought that if he was going to beg that much, then maybe it's worth another shot. But I was wrong. I called my father-in-law about what had happened and told him everything. So yeah, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to ask for a divorce.
I see. I'm so sorry about everything.
I'll be leaving a letter here explaining everything and leaving. My father-in-law understood everything I was doing, and I wrote a final note to my husband. I'm going to take half of our shared wealth. It's not all your money, after all. I'm also going to be expecting child support for the rest of her education, in full up front. In other words, I'm taking all the savings. I'm the one that gave birth to my daughter, and she wants to go with me as well, so she's coming with me. I'm never going to let him take her. I'm sure my mother-in-law will just milk her for money if I leave her here. You're free to spend the money that you don't spend on us for your mother. Your father was also tired of you and your mother, so he said that he's going to cut ties with both of you. So you guys share your wealth amongst yourselves. I put the letter on the table and left the house. A few days later, I wasn't expecting that. Surprisingly, he didn't say anything at all, not even about the money, and immediately sent me a divorce papers with his side already signed. My husband's sister, Naoko-san, told me about this later. My dad talked to Yuta. He said that in return for not divorcing Mom, Yuta had to divorce you with no complaints. Really? Yeah, I was called up to go back home for a meeting too. It was a whole family thing. Talk about awkward. Apparently, my father-in-law had quite a bit of wealth he inherited from his father, so his wife didn't want to divorce him. I don't want a divorce!
I can't live with some leech like you! Get out! You even mess with our own son and his family!
But Yuta covered for her.
If you're gonna make her cry, then I'm gonna cause problems with your daughter!
So Naoko-san was at loss for words after that. That's where the deal from earlier came into play, and they agreed that he would not touch my daughter or I. He's still insane. I don't think he was that protective of Mom before, but I don't know when he developed this weird complex. She had been at a loss. I hired a lawyer and made sure everything was in order for the divorce. Half a year later, I still occasionally see my father-in-law with my daughter.
Irie!
Grandpa, how have you been?
I've been doing great! Wanna go grab something good to eat?
We occasionally go out together, but I make sure that she never sees her grandmother or my ex-husband.
I don't want to see Dad and Grandma under any circumstances.
My now ex-father-in-law was still married to his wife, but they live separately.
My blood pressure would be through the roof if I still live with her. I don't care what they do. They can live together all they want.
So my ex-husband and his mother live together. Apparently, she's been living a great life with the money that she gets sent from her husband and my ex-husband. But Yuta is starting to get troubled by this.
Mom! We haven't even paid rent this month, and you've already spent that much money?
I'm sure you'll work hard for me, right? Your father is so stingy. He only sends like $1,500 a month for me. I'm pretty sure you'd be fine not worrying about rent or utilities and having $1,500 a month to spare. But it was never enough for her.
Please stop!
He ran out of all of his savings from my divorce, and he's just being milked for his money by his own mother, so he's got no time to enjoy on his own. Sometimes he calls his father for help.
That's what you wanted, isn't it?
My father-in-law ignores him. Yuta's messaging me again. He's so persistent.
Please come home!
It's too late for that. Anyway, it's time for your birthday cake. I'm gonna make a really nice cake, so I hope you're excited.
I want you to add a lot of peaches to my cake.
Normally, my ex-husband should have a right to see my daughter since he's paying child support. But because my daughter claimed that she is under mental duress when with her father, our lawyer argued for her to be able to stay away from her father. The courts agreed. Irie, this is a present from Mom.
Wow, is it a tablet? Are you sure I can have this?
You enjoy living your life with your mother, who you thought was more important than your own wife and kid.
Thank you for watching all the way till the end. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. See you next time!